Thank you so much for agreeing to be here with me today for the sake of all of our learning, mine, yours, and everybody who's going to be watching this. Much appreciated.
It's always my pleasure to talk to you, and I learn a lot just talking to you. I know that, so it's a guaranteed learning for me.
Likewise, likewise. We learn from each other and together. Thank you so much. So that's our intention, right, for today, to see what shows up in the space and what is it that we can learn from it. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so I think that sounds like a good, the overview of our objective of talking this morning, my time.
Yes, yes. All right. And anything you need to get grounded before we start?
I did my morning stretch. Oh. Yeah, so I'm in good space. So I think we can start.
I love the metaphor already of you being all stretched out. And I'm going to add, you didn't say this, but open-hearted.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I did this one, right? When I was saying I did stretch, yeah.
Okay. I felt that from you. I totally felt your heart area
actually, this is interesting because, the case that I'm going to bring may actually require my open heart.
So we might want to invite that into the space.
Yes.
That felt delicious to me. How did it feel to you?
I feel expensive.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So where would you like to start? Where should we explore first?
Yeah, so I want to actually bring in the case that I'm doing, that I'm coaching actually these days. And the client is senior leader in a professional firm in Shanghai. So this is global firms, so to say, China, China part of the, their business. And at first, when the firm approached me, for the prospect of coaching him, that the line went like, he's not delivering what he is supposed to deliver. So I was like, oops. So maybe that this is last resort. They want to experiment. The people giving him a lot notice. So I was a little bit nervous, but he found out that his performance, financial performance, is just super best, and one of the actually supreme in the firm. And he has a lot of client base, and he delivers like crazy. But the one he was not delivering is showing love to his colleagues, developing, the junior consultants, and also, that interacting with the back office staff. So I think, that they are using very interesting analogy of archetypes. So he introduced himself, I'm a warrior and thinker. I'm totally Lego lover.
So he knows, he's aware.
Yeah. So I mean, he is actually self-aware, but that the one that I want to explore with you at this session is that, and he's brilliant, and he's not a coach, but he does a lot of development work as well with his clients. So he knows the drills, he knows the vocabulary, he knows the process. So just that from the surface, it feels like that it's progressing. So because he comes out with action, really relevant action planning at the end of the session, and also that he's saying that he's getting a lot out of this coaching session. However, one thing that I have deep in my heart my question, or that some of the actually something that bugs me is that it's going too fast in terms of coaching progress, and am I going deep enough? So what is he really building against demonstrating his lover side? I think there's really a lot to explore there. And so, sometimes that I think at the second session, I slightly brought out the topic of what's behind, what have you built against love? And he kind of like, he felt like he caught by surprise. And so we did a little bit of the exploration, but that he said mostly like, my need for being recognized. I want to be recognized by everybody, every time, everywhere.
Tall order.
Yeah. And he has big ego, because I think he's the founder of that professional firm in China. So he actually really created, literally from the office to the practice. And he was the office leader for a while. And now he's actually scaling back, and he just do the delivery. But he has a lot of ownership of, China practice. And he's not a mainland Chinese, that he's from Hong Kong, but I think he has special attachment for the firm. But I think, somehow, that I have a feeling the scaling down, not just, his role, but I mean, even the attention, or yes, let's use love, there is no reason not to use the word love. There is, I think, something that makes him scale down his love for people inside the firm. I did actually stakeholder interviews, and there were actually many interesting observations came up. So like, that there was one comment that, he's actually very interesting, because I mean, he loves the firm. His love for the firm is well known. He has special attachment, but he doesn't love people inside. So it's like you love the country, but you don't love its people.
Right. So
Yeah.
Alex, I want to go back a few minutes ago when you were saying you actually went, you said, I'm wondering if we're going too fast and we need to go deeper. And you paused, and it felt like you went deeper into your being, and you went inside to, and you asked that question. So I'm wondering if what is it that you'd like to walk away with today? What would feel most supportive to you and your client?
I like to understand what's getting in, for me to go deeper. Is it me, or is it him, or is it us?
What's getting in the way of you going deeper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, is it me who fears to go deeper, or is it his fear that is blocking the dialogue go deeper? Or am I like colluding with him not to go there? That's PPP, the danger sign, like, oh yeah, the too deep sign. Yeah, so
it's like, stop, too deep, stop.
Yeah. So is it me, or is it him, or is it us? Or what's really getting in the way of us going deeper, the dialogue go deeper? So that's what I want to understand a little bit more.
And maybe it's not this or that, maybe it's both, maybe it's something else. So we'll see what shows up.
Maybe he can be totally something else.
Shall we consult your heart?
That's a beautiful question, first of all. And, when you asked me to consult with my heart, there was, that I felt heavy. I felt like something like a boom,
Yeah,
hitting me down. in my heart. That's interesting.
I saw that in you, in your face, and yeah.
I probably that I need to be very honest with myself first. I didn't want to take him as my client. I was too busy at the time. And I thought I declined in a polite way.
Indirect communication, right?
Yes.
Right.
And no, because I'm not based in Shanghai. I'm not even Chinese, right?
Right, right.
So no, I responded.
However, you did. It's not. That's what I'm hearing from you. That you communicated unwillingness, but in an indirect way. Is that right, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah. So I declined politely, like oh, maybe it's better for him to have someone based in Shanghai. So if he wants, he can have face to face, because it sounds like it's a really serious intervention if this is the last resort. So that was my, but somehow the chemistry meeting was chemistry conversation was arranged, and he decided to work with me. So and my policy is that if the client wants to work with me, I better I do all my best to accommodate the request after the chemistry session.
May I inquire about that policy?
I think that I exercise my sense of choice of whom I work with before the chemistry session. So yeah.
So and what's the heaviness about and the reluctance, the initial reluctance to work with this client?
Okay, maybe I didn't want to take too heavy project at that moment, because I was quite overloaded with other work, other projects, and when I had chemistry meeting with him, he's brilliant, he's fun, and but at the same time, that I felt a sense of that's not really weariness, but something related with age. Let's put it that way. And I think he's probably not 60 yet, but he's near to the retirement. And that there was this sense of that, a little bit fighting against his age, like, oh, that feeling that, oh, I used to be the father of this professional firm, but now that I'm scaling down, now that I'm not an office leader anymore, and I'm not the practice leader anymore, but I need to prove what I can do, who I am, until the last minute of I am in this firm. And he has big need for the recognition. He needs to be recognized. He needs to be loved. So even
funny, right? Needs to be loved, but has a hard time showing love.
Yeah. But outside the world is shrinking. But I think that's a little bit his revolt against what's happening, his perception of what's happening outside of him. And one thing, so, I think, I'm getting that age too, right? So I think, that it's not really empathy. I think actually, I felt sympathetic with, his situation. He didn't say anything pathetic about himself. And I didn't feel pathetic about him at all, because he's not in that situation. But there was something almost like heartache, sadness I felt from him.
About
the accepting the acceptance of the changing situation, changing status, changing position, and which was a little bit confirmed by stakeholder interview. I was actually quite shocked. These days, that it's not the old has the power, it's the young has the power. I understand that. But, some of the younger stakeholders says, oh, yes, he's very old, yes, but being old in this market means that you are becoming irrelevant.
They said that, the stakeholders?
Yeah, stakeholder interviews.
And
of course, yeah.
I was just reminded of how the fear of irrelevance is the #1 shame trigger in the workplace.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm curious, Alex, about what this is bringing up for you, since you said you're nearing his age.
And this is going to be distributed to the many people. Okay, I'm fine with my age. I'm fine. I'm proud of where I am in terms of my age scaling. So it's totally fine. But I think oh yeah, I think what you said is very interesting. Being irrelevant is
the fear of irrelevance is the #1 shame trigger in the workplace. This is based on Dr. Brene Brown's research.
Yeah, and I think that you put the vocabulary on the very ambiguous feeling that I had about him. So, I sense the fear, I sense the sadness, but I could not really pinpoint. I could not really frame it into the words that what's the feeling, what's the fear I am smelling, so to say.
So may I point something out?
Yes.
So we started the conversation with he's going too fast, or the coaching is going too fast, we're not going deep enough. And like a few moments ago, I asked you, what does this bring up for you, since you mentioned that you're closer to his age? And then you said, oh, I'm fine with my age. I'm okay with my age.
It's parallel.
There's a parallel process here, huh?
Okay. So I have to look into my fear of being irrelevant too. Okay. I think that there is a little bit of fear on me as well, like that somehow that there is a little bit of fear of opening up that door of talking about all those fear of being irrelevant and triggered shame and all those things. I think that there is a sense of discomfort for me to open that door as well. And thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
Ooh,
Ooh, what was that sigh? What did you just let out?
Oh, you know what? The feeling that you have to do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Can we pause for a moment?
Yes.
And check in, how are you feel? How does it feel in your body to look at this?
I feel, the little bit of this, this sign when people feel like sign on the left side of my body, from my brain to the back. What is that about? Is it epiphany?
An epiphany?
Yeah.
Is that?
No, I think in a way, it's a small epiphany that maybe the fear is in me, inside of me, more than in me than him.
Well, let's explore it, if it's okay with you. Let's explore yours, and then we'll explore his, because it doesn't have to. We don't have to compare them, right? Who has more, who has less. We
It's
can
not
honor.
competition.
Sorry.
It's not competition.
No, it's not. We can honor what's going on with you first, and then we can honor what's going on with him.
Okay, first, that let me bring in my excuse not to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always good to use up my excuse. Yeah. The sense of face, keeping his face.
Saving face for him.
Yeah.
That's your excuse? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because how would he feel to share his fear of being irrelevant? Is he ready? I don't want to bring it to premature way, because then I think we need to really just touch it in a superficial way. So my first excuse was that, I have to keep his face, so I have to be very careful not to touch anything going near against his face. So he fight his ego, his need for recognition. So I will wait until we have enough trust, rapport, psychological safety, and
is right.
yeah. And now I think I did 4 sessions with him. So I'm asking myself that, do we have enough trust? Or is it more correctly, do I have enough trust on him to deal with this vulnerable topic?
So going back to love, showing love, I hear part of this is you showing love for him, caring about him so he can save face, protecting his ego so he doesn't get hurt. So there's that. And what's the facial expression you're making? What are you thinking or feeling right now?
Oh, I think that first of all, you read my face too well. Or maybe I am too transparent.
Yeah, you are.
No, I think when do I love him enough? Do I need to love him?
Do I love him enough to?
No, I mean, that's two separate questions. Do I love him enough? Do I need to love him?
Right. I'm wondering if you could finish the sentence. Do I love him enough to
go through this difficult conversation with him? I think the answer is yes. But as probably you can tell from my voice, it's not yes.
Right.
Yes. So how can I make how can I make yes to just yes?
Well, before we go, let's not rush it. Let's not go too fast.
Yeah.
Let's slow it down.
Okay.
You don't have to anything. Here and now with me, you don't have to. You don't have to love him. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to empathize. You can be your 100% human self, which means that sometimes you're going to love your clients, sometimes you might dislike your clients. So everything is okay right here and right now. So if everything is okay, whatever feeling shows up, and you don't have to love him. We're just here to look at, go ahead.
I don't have to, that's one thing for sure. And I think I just noticed my fear. Yeah.
Tell me more.
my fear of transparency or counter-transparency that I am getting too influenced by this topic of, being aged and being irrelevant. Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh. That feels like what was that? Ooh.
Maybe that's the feeling he has. It's not yucky feeling, but it's close to yucky feeling. Yeah. And recently my relationship with my daughter has been there's a lot of reverse happening in my relationship with my daughter. Like before, it's me who takes care of her, who take care of her. But these days I feel like, that there's more reverse role that, I feel like she is taking care of me. And and when we need to take care of really like some of the everyday stuff, like sometimes she takes charge. And so in a way there's like, oh, she's now that she's supporting me and she's being a grown up, and there's a sense of pride, and at the same time a little bit of sense of depowering. Yeah. And so maybe that's the part of his fear of feeling depowered by looking at all those brilliant young consultants, and these Chinese are super brilliant, and they are talking about mostly Chinese companies, because the what's cool and hot companies in China is not global companies anymore. But like really like Alibaba, Baidu, all those like really, really fast to face, that super fast growing Chinese companies, which probably he doesn't really agree with. So because that he's Hong Kong Chinese, but he's mostly educated in the US, and he spent most of the time working for global companies. So probably I think there is a little bit of sense of disconnection. And also, that feeling a little bit of, yes, I think, that fear of being irrelevant. So I think, that as a reaction, I think he wants to really prove him as still, I am still here.
Relevant. Yeah. Right.
I'm still here.
And the system is giving him what feedback?
The system is giving him very negative feedback inside his organization. And the way he responds to this, that feedback, now it's different. Now, that especially I think the stakeholder interview, I didn't put, that all those two extreme comments, but, but, anyway, that stakeholder interview summary, right? So I think, that he actually accepted it quite well. But before, from the stakeholder interview, probably I think he ignored or he disregarded those feedback by, there was actually, another comment from the stakeholder interview was that he does not talk to anybody in the office anymore.
Oh, wow. So it's not even giving them love. He doesn't even give them attention.
Stonewall.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting into his room, and, he just interacts. He just shows all the love to his clients.
Because that's where he gets what? What does he get from his client?
Recognition.
Yeah,
love.
Which he needs a lot of. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Makes sense a lot. And also I think, that I'm sensing the little bit of the changing signs from him, because, the session 1, 2 was really like, I'm good, I'm super positive, like all those, that like showing his big ego, or like, showing more of the, public front, even in the coaching
persona. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think, the session 3 was sharing the stakeholder interview. And after that, we did a sponsor alignment, and we did, the session 4. And I felt actually shift of energy.
How so?
He became more vulnerable or mellow. No, I think, no, okay, this is not the time to joke. I sense an opening.
Where?
In his heart.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe actually this is really timely that I have this wonderful dialogue about him with you, because I think, that maybe it's actually really, it's about time that I can go there.
Oh, it's the right time, you mean, right now?
About time.
Tell me more about what you mean.
I am 85% sure that it's the time.
It's the right time to do it.
Yeah, but when I say it's right time, that I have at least 99% of assurance that, it's it's time to, talk with him about this fear. But I think at this point, 87%. Yeah, 87% sure that maybe it's the, the right time at the
next session. I'm curious about what happened in the coaching relationship that allowed him to open up his heart.
I think, that he is building trust on me. Yeah, chemistry session, he came to the session 15 minutes late. First session, he came 10 minutes late. So I think, that probably, I think coaching was not his request. Coaching was requested from the actually, that office leaders, so it came from the, higher above him. So probably I think, that he said, oh, I was told to explore this, possibility. And if you are in a professional firm, you cannot say no to coaching, right?
Right. So I'm wondering how that translates in his relationships with his colleagues, because the feedback that he's getting is they don't feel the love from him. And showing up 15 minutes late to a meeting without letting you know, I'm assuming he'll let you know.
Well, his EA, let me know. His executive assistant, me know.
Let you know. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like love. When somebody shows up 15 minutes late the first time and 10 minutes late the second time. So I'm just noticing the different ways in which he shows up in his life because we show up as who we are everywhere we go.
Yeah. And yeah, this just reminds me that, the love starts from, it needs to start from anywhere, and with one person, with one relationship, with one experience, right?
Well, I would take it one step closer.
Tell me more about it.
I would say that the love needs to start from within ourselves.
Yeah. And although I was not sure about my love to him, I think he sensed at least my care about him.
What happened to you when I said that? When I said, where did you go when I said it needs to start from within?
I went into my heart. Yeah.
And what did you feel?
I care about all my clients, and I think depending on my condition, my condition of how much I am tired or not, there's a variance. Sometimes I resist, but I care about them.
Yeah. I feel that from you.
Yeah.
And it's curious because I meant something a little bit differently. I meant that it needs to start from him loving himself.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I understood it right, right
Okay.
way. But that somehow like my heart, my attention goes into my heart. That.
But it didn't go into you loving yourself. It went into you loving them, your clients.
Yeah. No, I think, that there are many positive things happening with him. The first thing, that when I first talked to him, he was isolated in Shanghai because all his families they were in the US, and because of the China-US relationship, they could not come back to Shanghai. I mean, I think their children is in the US, but that his wife went to visit their children and got stuck there.
Oh.
But now she's back. Okay. So that's fast. So he's not totally isolated anymore. And also I think that the dialogue at the second session helped him to start to change, because that when I asked him, what have you built against love? He did not really give me the, he said, that yes, the need for being recognized, but it's all about him. But it turned out that he is really, I'm not sure he's good or not, but I think he's Christian. And he's quite into, his religion, Christianity. So that I think the follow-up question after that, what have you built against love, was that, so what can you do to open up your heart to lower down whatever you built against, that love? And he said, pray.
Okay.
And I think I reminded him the 7 deadly sins. The biggest one is pride.
You reminded him of that?
No, I said, oh, it's interesting because you said, that you said you highlighted a lot about your need for being recognized, but now knowing that you are a good Christian, and it just reminded me of the 7 deadly sin, and the biggest one is the pride. And what do you think of it? So I was maybe too direct. Yeah.
You felt that it was the right time, it sounds like.
Yeah. And I think, that probably, and also I think, that the pride is a weapon, right? In his case, being recognized, the ego, pride is a little, self-esteem is different, but I think, pride as an ego is a weapon. It's a shield.
Oh, a shield, not a weapon, but a protection.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for guiding me the right English. So, so it's a shield, right?
Yeah.
So I think, that he dropped down the shield.
An armor, the shield to protect himself.
Or at least unbutton some part of his shield. And then we had this stakeholder interview, and I was very honest in giving him the positive feedback, and at the same time some some of the feedback that he needs to really address. So I think that his shield is down, and also I think that probably interesting. I think I noticed that when you have this big fear, it's hard to love yourself, right?
When you are fear of what? Are you talking about the irrelevance fear?
Yeah, any kind of fear. If you
Any
have fear, yeah, you are just
right.
Yeah, you spend more of your energy on survival rather than connection. With my heart. They don't care. If there's a lot of fear in the system, people lose a heart.
It's hard to connect with your heart when you're afraid. Yeah, when you're protecting yourself, right? I agree with you.
Yeah, so in a way, I think, now I am getting to 95% of assurance that it's the time to talk about, because I think, that we noticed it's that by talking about fear in the system, and how it gets in the way of loving himself and others, I think that he will get, because he's brilliant leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
and
I
he's
think
more open.
Yes, it's a 96% assurance.
It's going up. Very good for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, now I feel like a 97%.
How interesting that the meter goes up the more you figure it out. Did you notice that?
Until you pointed it out, I did not. No, but I think, yeah.
So it wasn't, because the assumption was that the readiness had to do with trust between the two of you. But what showed up in our conversation is that what allows you to feel more ready to broach the conversation is more about you feeling ready.
Yeah, it was about my readiness that was on the table. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you for pointing out. So you made me use up my excuse. So it's not his fear. It can be, so it's more of my fear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I want to check in with you. How are we doing regarding what you wanted to get out of this conversation?
I think you made me look into the fear in my heart. And I think I was using all the excuses not to open my door to look into my fear of, my fear of whatever it is. Yeah. It's not actually, I don't have fear of being irrelevant, but I think I have slight fear of, because I am feeling aged, I'm starting to feel aged in my body, in my system. So I think, that I was getting there. So it was my fear of me becoming an old lady. Yeah.
I can totally relate to what you're saying, because I think I might be only a couple years younger than you, not that much.
I think we checked it. We are not going to reveal it on this recording, but it's not 1 year younger than me.
Only one. Okay, even more so. So I relate because of this, exactly what you just said. The body is not the same. I'm feeling changes, and I'm looking in the mirror, and it's like, what is that? I totally relate to that feeling. Yeah, and it's real, and you can't escape it because it's there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me, listening to you, that his fear would trigger what you've been trying to process and work through with your body, with your daughter. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. I totally relate to that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, that this conversation made me realize my fear, and also, that how to break away from my fear, and showing love to him. So I mean, I don't need to feel yucky about showing love to him.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
How do you feel about showing love to him right now?
Yeah. You saw me, that.
Yeah, that was a nice sigh.
Yeah, that was a nice sigh of relief.
Mm,
Yeah.
tell me about that relief?
It's not that scary anymore.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's because of your vulnerability and openness and willingness to explore that we got here.
You made it easy.
Likewise, thank you. I just felt my heart. Ooh, yeah, like I felt the connection from my heart to your heart. Just totally felt that.
Okay. Let's connect.
Very sweet. Anything else you need from this conversation to feel complete? So how are you going to show up differently with this client after feeling all this?
Not afraid of showing love, opening up my heart, and bringing my heart to the session to have this interesting dialogue about, what is really behind of all the things happening with him. And I will really listen with my heart. Yeah. And help him to be courageous, support him to be courageous.
Yeah, that gave me chills. Yeah. I feel like letting out a big sigh right now of just emotion, a lot of emotion that I'm feeling. Yeah, I feel excitement for him of what's possible for him thanks to your open-hearted coaching presence, your open-hearted presence.
Yeah, I like to open up more possibilities for him.
Yes, and so you shall.
So you shall.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a beautiful conversation, so sweet and so open-hearted, and it felt like a beautiful journey to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you for opening up my day with this beautiful dialogue. Once again, you made my day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop recording as soon as I can find it. Pause.